Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Wilborn and this is a quick preview for my upcoming DVD, the Photoshop tutorial DVD I'm making. The DVD is going to be really showing how I create my distinct style you see on mwilborn.com, and it will also be just a general tutorial DVD on editing portraiture and people in Photoshop, mainly Photoshop. There will also be tutorials on how to use Lightroom and Aperture in your workflow, and just also a few extra perks, and on some you could take you on some of my photo shoots and show you how I make these photos. Now, again, this is just a quick preview. I'm trying to stay to the 15-minute limit that is provided by YouTube for uploading, so I'll be moving kind of fast and I won't be going over each detail like I will in the DVD. If you wish to pause it, rewind it, do so. Now, this is an image I took of Desi, my fiance, just using it as an example, and it's not a very good exposure. As you see, the crop is off, there's way too much headroom, she's off on the angle, her legs are cut off, it's not a very good photo. And if I was to zoom in, you would see her eyes are out of focus. I'll show you that in a second too. Now, I'm going to show you how to rescue a photo like this. There's times when you're on a job as a photographer, or if you're just taking pictures of your family and you see a photo that you really need to use, there's a background you need, or you just need that photo and you gotta fix it. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in Photoshop today. Now, as you see, I have a Adobe Camera Raw open, and it's the RAW converter for Photoshop. And when you shoot in RAW with your camera, it gives you the ability to edit a lot of things you can only normally do on camera, like the exposure, going up or down, and everything from the white balance to the curves of saturation, to lens profiles and camera calibration, and all kinds of presets, everything that you usually have to do in camera. But the problem is, this tutorials are going to be for amateurs to pros, people that might not have access to a camera that has RAW capabilities, like they're shooting on a point and shoot that doesn't shoot in RAW. So I'm just going ahead to open the image as if I was shooting in JPEG and do all the edits manually. So open image. Again, I'm trying to do this in 15-minute time frames, so I'm going to kind of hurry. Now, right away, I want to crop the image, so I'm going to go up here to the crop tool. I'm going to click on rectangular crop tool. I'm going to crop the image just above her head, so that's a little too high. Just above her head, give me some room on the right too to work with. Now, that's a little too much. I'm going to cut off just the top of her hair and bring the focus in on her body and her face. And I'm going to go to, after selecting it, I'm going to go to image and crop. Now, as you can see, we have a much better cropped photo. I would usually want more of her legs, but that's how the photo was taken, and I can't fix that. Now, right away, this spider web's really distracting over here, so I just want to get rid of that. So since we're about to edit the blemishes with the spot healing brush tool, I thought I should get rid of that first. So right away, you want to check if you're using the newest version of Photoshop CS5 that content aware is clicked on. This allows you up here to make a lot better blends with the skin tones as you're editing the image. It does it for you. It's not needed, but it sure does help a lot. We're going to go in and just completely get rid of this image right here. There, it's all gone. I just selected it right there. You could use all the different selection tools for that. One second. In here, and I will explain each one in the DVD tutorial, but I don't have time to do that in this tutorial. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to begin removing blemishes. Now, you could use a gradation blur filter or a preset that does this for you, but in my opinion, they suck. I mean, you end up getting that airbrushed look that looks completely fake and plastic. That works for some people, but it doesn't work for me. I'm very much against that look. It looks fake, and this is a portrait of a person. This is someone's family. You know, they're gonna look back on this after they're passing away, or when the person's 80 years old and looks back. They're gonna see a picture of them and not an airbrushed fake look I'm going to leave like the moles because that's who she is, and I'm just going to get rid of the blemishes that you normally wouldn't want in the image, like little pimples, and I'm going to change the size with a key command. You can do this also by using the sliders if you don't know the Photoshop key commands, which we'll have a tutorial on the DVD for that as well. Since this is going to take like 30 minutes and I have only 15 to work with, I'm going to head over to one I've already done that to. Now, as you can see, 1 second, let me get rid of the guide. I have a guide over here set. Okay, as you can see, this one's cropped and it's already edited with the blemishes gone, so that you still have skin tone going across her face. The highlighted areas are smooth. The catch light's nice. You can see from the flash from the beauty dish coming up here. I just went through and took out every individual dot but still left the skin tones, and it gets that beautiful, almost like airbrush look, but with the skin tone still there, it looks natural still. So that takes a while to do that. That's why I skipped and showed you the result. Now, as you can see, the eyes are out of focus in this photo, which was my fault. That's why I'm not using this for my portfolio. And the lips are in focus and the nose is in focus. So what we're going to do is fix the eyes. Now, right away, let me flatten the image I have right now so I can show you manually. We have one layer, and what we want to do right now, in case we mess up on it, we're going to copy this layer by dragging it down to the new layer button. Now that we have a copy of the main layer that we don't mess with, in case we mess up on that layer, we can always go back to where we were. Now we're going to go to the selection tool after being on the layer that we're editing, make sure you're on the right layer, and we're going to go through, and the elliptical marquee tool, or it's a circular selection tool, and we're just going to do a general selection of the eyes. Now when you select one eye, you have to hold shift and add to the selection. If you don't, the new selection will get rid of the old selection. So holding shift, I have both selected. I'm going to create a new layer, so that this is going to be the layer for the eyes. I'm going to go back to that layer. I'm going to press Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, C, so Command C, and then Control or Command V when you're on the new layer right here. Now, as you can see, if I hide the layers under it, we have the eyes. Now there's skin on top and then bottom of the eyes you gotta get rid of. So we're gonna take the eraser tool, we're gonna take a small brush, and we're gonna go down to like 10% on the hardness. And we're gonna feather out the edges of these eyes and get rid of those skin and get rid of the crazy shadows on the edges. And what we're gonna do next is sharpen the eyes. That's a little too much. I'm gonna press Command or Control Z to undo what I just did. Which is your best friend sometimes, and just get rid of those skin tones and some of the dark areas. We're just going to feather it. Okay, so we have the eyes selected. Now what we're going to do, when we're on the layer with the eyes, you might hear my fan in the background. Please ignore that. The DVD will not have that. It'll be recorded in a studio. I'm just in my office right now. But we're going to go to Filter, and we're going to go to Sharpen, and we're going to go to Smart Sharpen. And we're going to sharpen these eyes. And whoa, they look like crazy vampire eyes or something. Looks like she's going to eat you with those eyes. Well, we don't want that, but right now that's how it's going to look. I have it already set to 147% at 3.4 pixels on the radius, and I have it set to remove gradation blur, and more accurate is off for the eyes right now. I'll explain what all these settings are in the DVD in a lot more detail, but again, time is killing me right now, so I'm already in almost 9 minutes, so I have like 10 or 11 minutes left. So I'm going to press OK, and that will apply the filter. Now as you can see, her eyes look crazy. This is before, this is after. It's unbelievably crazy though. She looks like a vampire again. So I'm going to bring the opacity of that layer. So first I want to make sure I'm clicked on the eye layer, and we're going to even name it by clicking on it. We're going to name it Eyes. And I'm going to bring the opacity of that layer down to blend it in a little bit. There we go. So now we have before and after. Now her eyes are in focus. That was a very simple tool to bring it in focus. This is overall looking like a decent photograph. I would almost use that right now. There's just a few more things we got to do. Now, first thing I'm going to do though is the background's a little distracting. So now that I'm satisfied with these images, You don't have to do this, but I like to keep my layers clean, so since I'm satisfied, I'm going to flatten the image and press OK. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer again so I have a layer to work with if I mess up. So now that I'm on the copied layer, the duplicated layer, I can always go back to that if I need to. I'm going to go in and go to Filter, Blur, and Smart Blur. And I'm going to blur the background. Now the problem with using Smart Blur is it blurs the entire photo, so even she's going to be blurred. So after we let that load a little bit, after it's lagging just a little bit because this is a pretty large photo we're working with here, so let it load. The reality of using Photoshop, it's sometimes slow, even on really fast computers. We're going to bring the radius of the blur up, and we're going to bring the threshold of the blur way up, and it's going to blur the background quite a bit. That's what we're trying to do. She's also blurred, but we're going to fix that in a second. So let that preview render and press OK. And that's going to apply the gradation blur filter, or the smart blur, excuse me. Okay, and again, I'm not no guru at Photoshop. I'm not amazing at Photoshop. This is just how I do things. So you might know a more efficient way to do it, but this DVD is showing my techniques. I'm going to use the eraser tool now, and as you can see, it's pretty large, and I'm going to bring the hardness down to like 10 or 11%, and I'm going to make sure I'm on the top layer. This is the layer that we applied the blur to, and I'm going to start erasing that layer. And what this is going to do, if you can see where we erase, what this is going to do is allow the layer below to come through so that she will not be blurred, only the background will be blurred. So we're going to just gently erase, I'm going to make this smaller, gently erase everywhere on her, and it's okay if you go off a little bit. You could do this by making a layer mask, which I will show you how to do in the DVD, but for the sake of time, I'm just erasing. Okay, we want to do a little bit in her hair, and then we're good to go there. And we're gonna go and we're gonna make the layer visible below. Now, as you can see, the background before and after is a pretty large difference. If you zoom out, you might be able to see a little better. It's less distracting with that blur. Nothing's in detail back there. So now she pops more. She looks more 3D, and there's a little too much blur still on her hands, so we're going to get rid of that. And overall, that's a photo I would use now. I wish I'd had a little bit more of the legs, but all the ones of the legs were great exposures. This is the only bad exposure I had, so this is the one I had to use to show you. We're at 12 minutes, so now I'm going to flatten the image, and going to layer, flatten image, and I'm going to kind of apply the Mike Wilborn look that you see on my website. So this is my secret. Don't tell anybody. Shh. It's very, very top secret. We're going to make a new layer first so we can work with that and not deteriorate the background. I don't have much time, so I'm going to go really fast. I'm going to go to other. I'm going to go to high pass on the top layer. I'm going to apply the high pass filter. As you can see, I'm going to go somewhere in here. I'm going to go to overlay, and I'm going to go percentage down. I won't have time to do my polished look because I have like a minute left, but I will have time to show you how to make photographs really pop. Now, we don't want the background popping, so we're going to erase the background for what we just did. Actually, no, that looks fine. The background's still blurred from the gradation blur. She's popping out even more so now, and as you can see, it's a huge difference. It makes the photo really pop, and that creates almost the kind of painted. It's like a mix, which it's hard to tell. You look at this and say, is that drawn? No, it's a photograph, and that's the look I like. And there's about 20 more steps to really make it polished like I like, but I only have 30 seconds left in this video. So again, my DVD will be available within a couple months. I'll be announcing it on my website and blog, which you'll see appearing on the screen. And please subscribe on YouTube. I'm going to be making lots more free tutorials and I look forward to hearing feedback and what you think of this tutorial. Again, I don't claim to be amazing at Photoshop. This is just how I do things, and this is Mike Wilborn signing off. Have a wonderful day and God bless.